All right, so in this video, we want to create a trigonometric equation, either sine or cosine, from the table of values given over here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to just analyze the table of values. So if you look at the y values over here, we can tell that our maximum is 18, our minimum is negative 18. And if we do the midpoint of those two, 18 plus negative 18 is 0 divided by 2 is just 0. So we know that 0 is the axis point. So now that we know this, we can do a quick sketch of this. My maximum at 18, my minimum at negative 18. So it kind of just looks like that. This is 2 pi over here. Pi over 2 and 18. It's pi, 3 pi over 2, and then that's negative 18. So we can tell over here that our period is 2 pi. So k is just 2 pi divided by my period. So in this case, it's just 2 pi divided by 2 pi, which is 1, just a regular sine wave with no compression, horizontal compression or stretch. You can tell that the amplitude of this wave is 18. You can just look at it from the graph, but if you want to, you could also do 18 minus negative 18, which is 36, and then divide that by 2. That's the formula method. You would get 18 as well. And there's no phase shift here because the sine graph starts right there on the y-axis. So I'm going to write a sine wave for this equation. So it's going to be y equals 18, my amplitude, sine, there's no k value, there's no phase shift as well. So I'm just going to put an x over here. And then there's no shift up or down, which means that there's no c value over here, which is basically your equation of axis. Let's try another example over here. Oops, we've got to put the y values. So in this one over here, again, you want to analyze the graph. If you look at the graph, you see that the maximum is 9 and the minimum is 4, which means that there's no axis points given over here. We're only given maximums and minimums. So when we're sketching this out, 0 and 4 is going to be my minimum point, and 3 pi and 9 is going to be my maximum. 6 pi is going to be my minimum, and then this next one is going to be my max. So they're actually giving us 2 cycles over here, unlike first question. You can draw it out like that. This is 6 pi, 3 pi, 9 pi, and 12 pi. So if you look at this over here, you can tell that this is a negative cosine wave because it starts at the minimum. Again, there's going to be no phase shift. One period is 6 pi. So my k value is 2 pi divided by 6 pi, which is just 1 over 3. My amplitude, so remember, amplitude is just max minus min divided by 2, which is just 5 over 2, which is 2.5, or you could just leave it as 5 over 2 if you want it as well. Your equation of axis is the midpoint of your max and min. So max plus min divided by 2, just 13 over 2, which is just 6.5. And like I said, if we have no phase shift here, if the minimum is the starting point, it's a negative cosine equation. So the equation is y equals to negative, amplitude is 2.5, cosine, my k value is 1 over 3. There's no phase shift, and my equation of axis is just 6.5. So this is the equation for this table right here. And again, there are infinite number of solutions you can have for both of these. You could always add in a phase shift and switch them from sine to cosine and have different waves as well. That's always possible. I've just written the simplest equation for these two examples here.